Robin, we're being attacked! Get the anti-pterodactyl spray! Hello, my younglings, and welcome back to the DC Animated Retrospective. Last time, we saw Superman literally fight his evil side. Today, we're looking at the first of many Justice League movies created in the animated originals. This time, it's a bit different.
Congratulations!
Justice League The New Frontier is a movie about the Justice League, but isn't about the Justice League. The Justice League is officially formed at the end of the movie, but the movie is about introducing these heroes and setting them up, and where they are in their life before they become heroes, or after they were forced to retire, like some of the other heroes in this. The movie takes place in the 1950s, a few years after a lot of superheroes had to retire. This includes Golden Age Flash and Green Lantern. But let's get into the movie. The movie begins with a man painting and retelling the history of the Earth and of mankind. We find out it's actually a picture book known as The Last Story, and things get creepy.
The center.
Then the guy kills himself. We get the credits, which I gotta say I love. It adds to the film's lore, and it's a really cool art style. It also has a ton of little details. When I rewatch it, I love seeing something I haven't seen before in this intro. It's really a cool feeling. We start in Korea on July 27th, 1953. We meet two pilots flying through the sky. We hear the voice of Lois Lane announcing that the war is over. One person is very happy about this, and that is pilot Hal Jordan, who talks about becoming an astronaut once the war is over. They then are attacked by North Korean pirates who didn't realize that the war literally ended 5 seconds ago. We learn that Hal doesn't like to kill, or at least kill with a gun. Instead, he likes to play chicken. I feel the gun would be less dangerous to him, but at this point, whatever. Hal is unsurprisingly shot down and parachutes down right onto another enemy like a dumbass. This causes the two to fight, and in the end, after Hal tries to stop him, he shoots the boy in the face. Hal finally realizes. We now go to Gotham, where we see a dying scientist, and huddling over him is the sad Martian John Jones. The professor explains to John he didn't intend for this to happen, and the last words of his is wanting forgiveness for taking John away from his home. John laces by the rest and turns into the dead professor. We cut to Indochina, where we see a mass of bodies burning. Also, Superman flies there and goes into a cabin of celebrating women. Once inside, he finds Wonder Woman, and she explains what awful things happened to these women, and who Wonder Woman only disarmed the rebels who did this to them, and the women murdered them. Seems kind of not Wonder Woman-like to do that, but still leads to a pretty good word battle between the two, and Superman does explain what happened a few years ago. We then catch up with Hal as he's in a casino with his flight partner talking about Hal's opportunity. We also meet Iris West interviewing a horn dog singer wanting to get into her pants. Iris ends up calling the one and only Barry Allen, who is just at home eating pizza and watching a boxing match. Lame. Can we get a Rogue?
Sorry to interrupt your festivities, but if you all stay calm...
There we go. Flash gets over there in a flash. Captain Cold tells Flash that he hit 6 bombs around Las Vegas, and they'll go off in 90 seconds. Flash runs and finds 5 bombs and searches for the 6th when he realizes that there is no 6th bomb. And then we get this awesome scene. Then after that, Captain Cold gets all weird.
You are different from the other lesser beings. Faster. Why?
Lesser beings? What are you talking about?
But Cold snaps out of it, and due to Flash, gets frozen in a block of ice. Shortly after, Hal is driving with his comrade Ace Morgan, as Hal is explaining why no one will sign him up to be an astronaut. This is mostly because
war is war and hell is hell, and of the two, war is a lot worse.
He finally reaches where Ace told him to go, which is a secret base being ran by Ferris Airlines. Also back with John, he takes on a detective identity inspired by a Nord black and white TV show. We go back to Hal having an interview with his boss, a Miss Carol. Hal once again explains that war
is war and hell is hell, and of the two, war is a lot worse.
And then this happens.
Waiter, some champagne.
Look, Hal, I don't get involved with my employees.
I understand, Carol. But I don't start work for 2 more weeks.
Now we cut back to John, who is now a full-blown detective cop guy. He and his partner come to arrest a cult who are about to sacrifice a boy to the center. When Batman shows up and kicks everyone's ass, and frees the boy, and even though the boy saw Batman literally beat the living shit out of everyone, he's scared of him. Also, by the way, there was a fire, and we find out that John's weakness is fire. Hal then finds out what he's doing at Ferris Aircrafts.
Going to Mars.
Yep, the government knows that there's life on Mars, and they're gonna go meet them. We go back to John, who is meeting with Batman, and Batman becomes a total badass.
And one other thing. I'm not sure what you are, or where you come from, but my instincts tell me you're to be trusted. Make no mistake, though. I have a $70,000 sliver of radioactive meteor to stop the one from Metropolis. With you, all I need is a penny for a book of matches.
John then goes to interrogate a mental case who's trying to escape the center and spills the beans on the Mars mission. This is where a government agent comes in, and with John reading his mind, he finds out that there is a Mars mission. Flash, after an attack on him by the government, decides to call it quits, and also does John. After a talk with Batman, he decides he's going to head home. John goes to the site of the launch and is almost inside the rocket before being stomped by the agent from before. By the way, his name is King Faraday. Faraday is knocked out by John, but John decides to save King from dying. This causes him to get knocked out by the rocket's fire and losing his only chance at going home. However, things aren't going smooth for Hal either on the Mars mission. After an engine failure, they are forced to abort the mission, but we find out that there is nuclear weapons on the ship in case the Martians were hostile. Hal and his co-pilot Rick Flag Sr. get into a fight in space, which ends with Superman being able to save Hal, who was launched out of the rocket during the fight, while Flag burns to death. Superman talks to Faraday about John and how Superman thinks that he comes in peace. Then we cut to Paradise Island, home of the Amazons, where Wonder Woman is sparring with another Amazon. Wonder Woman talks about how America has changed for the worse. Then the Amazon she was fighting tries to kill her and take the throne. This backfires after Wonder Woman kicks her ass, and a large shadow looms over them. We go back to Ferris Aircrafts, where Hal is just chilling in a prototype spaceship, when a Green Lantern appears and takes him away from the base. The green energy takes him to the middle of nowhere, where he meets the person who brought him there, an injured Green Lantern named Abin Sur, and explains who he is and why he came there.
In the coming battle with the Center.
Center of what?
It is a monstrous creature that fears you humans so much. It intends to eradicate every living soul on the planet.
Then Abin Sur talks about why he chose Hal in a great scene. The music is why it's so great. It builds up what Hal is going to become. We cut to the Batcave, where Superman and Batman are talking about the Center when we meet Robin. He really has no role in this, but Batman does explain one reason he has sidekicks.
Let's just say I set out to scare criminals, not children.
Then on the Bat Radio, they hear Lois talking about a pterodactyl the size of a football field. Superman flies over and fights the pterodactyl and ties it down. After he's done, he sees the invisible jet covered in blood. Wonder Woman managed to beat the whatever she was fighting, but at the cost she is almost dead. She gives grave words to Superman, though, because she said that there is more coming. Back with John, he's playing chess with Faraday, and the two form a friendship. But they get a notice that the Center is attacking. The two decide to head out to stop it, but... Oh god, what is that? Okay, I do know what it is, but what's with the design? It looks similar enough to the original designs of Martian Manhunter, but something about it is really off to me. Then it seems everyone is fighting about the Center as Hal gets ready to fight, after just walking in the desert for what I assume would be hours. Then Barry finds out his wife, Iris, knew all along that he was the Flash. At first, Barry isn't sure if he should go, but Iris pumps him up and he decides to go. Back at Ferris Aircrafts, Hal is about to leave when he has a confirmation with Carol, and Hal tells her why he's doing this.
But in that trench, I found out what would make me kill. Survival. I would kill to survive.
I'm sure they'll patch up.
Don't you
Called it. At the military base, Flash arrives. Ironically, he's the last one to get there. There we see the Blackhawks, that guy, and Green Arrow. Great, send the guy with the bow and arrow to kill the dinosaur. I'm sorry, Superman, I didn't mean it. I like Green Arrow, I swear. I like Arrow, seasons 1 and 2, but that's good enough, right? Superman then talks about America and how stupid the Cold War is, and then he goes out to the center. But he gets blasted by the thing seemingly killing him. Jeez, it was that easy? Man, Doomsday needs to step up his game. That took like an entire fight scene for Doomsday. That took like 10 seconds for the center. And then Lois gives a speech about his death on television.
Found no sign of him. Here at the Cape, the greatest minds in the free world are now working on a plan to stop this monster before it reaches the coast. We cannot panic. We cannot let our sense of loss
Jeez, what's with these movies making me really relate and emphasize with fucking Lois Lane? So then Batman comes with his plan to stop the center.
I want you all to listen to this man.
Gentlemen, I'm Ray Palmer.
Their plan is really cool. Basically, they're going to use Palmer's first draft of their shrinkage tech, which causes anything it hits to explode on the island. The Flash will shrink every part of it. Hal and his co-pilot from before will go inside to destroy it with bombs. Everyone else goes on an aerial assault. As the battle nearly begins, the pterodactyl from before explodes into many smaller dinosaurs like it does. The Battle of the Beach starts. Martian is knocked out by the second powers of the center, which causes Faraday to die. Then John just kills every fucking dinosaur out of rage. Also, Wonder Woman is there. Hal gets inside the center and decided it's basically an acid trip.
Hal?
What's wrong?
Whatever you see, ignore it. Just keep going. Acknowledge.
Just keep going.
No problem.
They are soon attacked by globs of ketchup, and before they are killed by the globs, this happens.
Hal Jordan, you are the key. Your will drives the ring. Clear your mind and focus on what matters.
I mean, that's cool and all, but I want some Flash. Flash runs around the center enough times to greatly damage it, but it's still left going. Hal escaping the center and acting quickly encapsulates the island. Hal flies to space with the center and throws it into the vast space where it finally dies. Back on Earth, the humans are celebrating their victory when...
I am Arthur of Atlantis. This one has been asking for a woman named Lois.
God dang it, Aquaman. For once, he could have been really useful and kick the center's butt, but no, he had to be underwater and swim with the fishes. The movie ends with powerful words by JFK and showing signs of things to come. We see the Teen Titans, a lot of villains in the future, including Carol Ferris as Star Sapphire, and of course the formation of the Justice League. If you haven't seen Justice League New Frontier, do it. It's one of my favorite superhero movies ever. Even after watching this video, in my opinion, you should still watch it, because I did leave a lot of stuff out. Hal is the closest thing to a main character in this. Hal's mate is finally trying to go to the stars and dealing with his experiences of war in Korea. He was in a mental ward for a few months, and you could tell that he really changed. His relationship with Carol is really genuine and enjoyable. John is a fish out of water that I wish they did more with. One scene he's watching American television, and it's only he's a detective that's been doing it a while and is familiar with the system. I wish he had a little bit more screen time, and his final form did look a bit weird though, but I did like how he was done. Superman doesn't do a lot here, but what he does is great. You can really see how he inspires people to do the right thing. Wonder Woman is similar, only with a little more edge. She allows a woman to murder and burn the men's bodies, tell that she's out for blood against the rebelling Amazon. Batman out of the original Trinity has a lot more to do. with him mostly trying to be kind of more like Superman, with him trying not to scare normal people, but scare criminals and figure out what the crap the center is. Flash is mostly fighting the rogues for this, like Captain Gold or Grodd. However, they hit the nail on the head with his humor and his smarts. I like it when he quits, oddly enough, to show his true love for his family. He helps save the day in the end, so that's what matters. The center is weird. I think it's cool how it's just an island and how trippy it is. I also love the voice actor they cast to do all his lines. He does a great job delivering those lines. But I kind of wish it was explained a little bit more, like, how is it like this? How does it just grow dinosaurs? How is it just a floating island? In the end, even though I like Superman Doomsday, this one takes the #1 spot. This is how I wanted a solo Justice League movie to be introduced. The originals getting no origins, and the ones that do get origins are the more lesser known ones like Green Lantern. But how long will it stay at #1? I haven't seen the next topic, which is Batman Gotham Knight. So, maybe Gotham Knight is amazing, who knows? But thanks for watching my Links. This has been Young Links Society. I'll see you all next time.